Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome to another film review. And wow, what an absolute corker got for you tonight. Got a British film called A Lonely Place to Die. Love this film. I've had this film for a number of years and I really love it. So I'm just going to go to my book and tell you a little bit about it. And you'll see one reason why I love it in a minute when I tell you who's in it. Okay, it's a UK film. 2011, certification 15, survival horror, directed by Julian Gilby, starring Melissa George and Sean Harris and Ed Spellers. Screenplay by Will Gilby. Cinematography is by Ali Azad and music is by Michael Plowman. Sean Harris is in it. As you know, he's one of my favourite actors. So this film is brilliant. It's an absolute really cool British sort of survival horror. It's all based in the Scottish Highlands, so you've got some amazing photography throughout the whole film of the Highlands. And the film sort of starts off where we see three sort of rock climbers climbing up the side of this mountain, and they're climbing up and taking photos of each other, and then one of them slips and is hanging on for dear life, and he's a newbie to the group. Anyway, the guy who's at the top, who's climbed to the top, sort of makes his way down and saves this guy from falling, and gradually they get themselves to safety. And then after this dramatic start, and this goes on for about sort of 5-10 minutes, this sort of beginning sort of scene, and it is quite intense, and it's like, wow, this is quite intense sort of film. If I'm going to compare this to any other sort of horror films, there's little hints of The Descent in there, but it's no monsters as such. But there is the same sort of similar sort of thing. It's that sort of a British survival sort of film. Anyway, so they make their way to this cabin in this sort of beautiful area where they meet up with their other friends that are there to go rock climbing with them. Altogether, there's like 2 girls and 3 guys, and they're all planning to go rock climbing. So they're all settled into this cabin at night, and there's a bad storm going on outside, as you would, and they're sitting in there playing cards and all this sort of thing. And we get sort of like another sort of 5-10 minutes of character development, so we can get to know a bit of the characters. And there's a young lad there who's new to rock climbing, and it's all to him, it's all a different world. We've got a Scottish guy there who doesn't like the young lad, and he's got his wife there. We've got the girl and the other guy from the first 3, so they're all there playing these cards, and the weather's pretty bad. And then we cut to the next day, and they are decided the weather has been too bad and them to climb up the rock face which they were going to go. So they're going to go a different way and go a different route. So they head off on their trip. And then they stop off for like a break halfway through their trip just to have something to eat and stuff. And the young guy that's with them goes off to for personal needs break, if you like. And he goes away and he hears a voice coming from the woods, and he calls all the others over, and they come over and they hear the voice too. So then they start going through all this sort of forest woodlands, searching for this voice. And then they stumble across this clearing where there's like a plastic tube coming out of the ground, and this is where the voice is coming from. And so they've obviously, because they're rock climbers and they've got all the equipment with them, they've got a couple of sort of foldable spades. So they start digging down this clearing where this sort of thing is, and they can hear the voice of a young girl. So they dig down, and then they find like the top of like what seems to be like a sort of wooden box. So that they manage to heave the lid off the box, and rightly so, inside is a young girl, absolutely terrified, but she's not English. She looks like she's like Eastern European or something like that, and she's been buried, and they've got absolutely no idea what she's doing there. So that she's very scared. She won't let the men touch her at all. She's afraid of men, but the two women manage to help her and get her out. And so they decide, well, look, we're going to need to get her to safety as soon as possible. So the main two characters, Melissa George and the other guy that from the beginning of the film, decide to go off down this steep ridge, because the way they were going to take is like a 20-mile walk. But if they go down this 500-foot drop ridge, it's only a 4-mile walk. So they've told the other guys with the girl to take her to a meeting point, and they're going to go down this ridge and then go to the nearest village and contact a sort of like mountain rescue to come and help and get them all off the mountain. So off they go. They go running through the woods and all making their way to the ridge. And the other three with the young girl are making their way to the meeting point at a snail's pace, because the young girl's walking slow. But they can't understand her, like, because she doesn't speak English. And all this sort of stuff going on, which doesn't help. Anyway, when they get to the ridge, then Melissa George decides to go down first. So she makes her way down, and the ridge is so far down they've not got enough rope. So what they decide to do is make it 2 parts. They get to like a ledge part where they can both go down and then set themselves up to go further down. Anyway, she goes down, but she's not got enough rope. And she's balancing on this like cliff edge, and it's really quite intense watching it. But don't you dare slip. She's balancing on this cliff edge, and she tells them, look, this is not safe down here. It's about a 5-foot drop down to where the first ledge is, what they were going to go to. And anyway, so he's going to make his way down. So he then makes his way down. And as he's descending down, he falls. And he falls right down to the bottom and hits every rock and everything on the way down, and killed on the way down there. And so our girl is still stuck there. She's sort of stuck on this ledge, can't go anywhere. She can see the body of her friend or partner, or whoever he is, down on the ground by the river. And then all these rocks start coming down. But they're not falling down. They're being chucked down. And one of them hits her. And she falls down. But luckily, she seems to fall downwards, but's hit by tree branches. So she's managed to get her way down there without even harming herself. She gets down these tree branches and then falls straight into the river. So she's not actually harmed. She manages to swim herself to shore. And then she goes to see that her partner has been killed. And so she grabs and goes for his rope. She grabs his rope and finds out it's been cut. So the rope's been cut. So she looks up the top of the mountain, and you just see a glimpse of someone moving backwards away from the edge of the cliff. I told you it's a good one. Anyway, then she sort of like recovers herself and takes bits from him that she needs. Meanwhile, our other three are still making their way to the meeting place. And then we see another twist to the story. There's a couple of hunters there with sniper guns. And they appear to be hunting down our three and the young girl. So these look like they're going away to kill her, as they set themselves up to shoot them, and the guy takes some last whiskey to steady his nerves. But then there's another twist, because these two are not killers. They are hunters. They are hunting deer, which I hate, because 2 other guys turned up who are our killers, and one of them is the incredible Sean Harris. And these 2 guys dispose of these 2 hunters very, very violently with a knife and falling down the cliff, and grab their guns. So now the story is these other 2 guys have got these guns. Okay. Then we join a car that's driving through the Highlands with a East European man and a police officer in there. And he's got a suitcase of money. So it appears to me the the young girl is kidnapped, and these people have stumbled upon her, and because they've stumbled upon her, the kidnappers, Sean Harris and his friend, are now in pursuit of these people, because obviously they need that girl back and they will do anything to get her back. So what's going to happen? Are they going to catch up with the group? Are this group going to survive, or are they going to get shot and killed? As soon as Sean Harris hits the film just takes a drastic turn and is an absolute roller coaster fight for survival. He's incredible in the film. It's an amazing film. So that is what I think of this film. It's amazing. It starts off like the Descent. Like I said, they're all going on this trip. Like in Descent, they go caving. This one, they're going rock climbing. So it's the same sort of premise, but then it changes. And it's like little bits of twists. First of all, you're thinking, oh, because when the rope's cut, you're thinking, is it people that live in the mountains? Are they, you know, killing these people off like Hills of Eyes sort of thing? But then as it progresses, you think, there's two hunters with guns, and then they're hunted down and killed by these other two guys. And then you see this other storyline of this European man come there with money, obviously looking for this girl. So she's obviously bait, and they've stumbled upon it, and now they're in for a ride of their life. The pluses of this film: it looks stunning, absolutely amazing looking film, absolutely gloriously shot, wonderful scenery of the Highlands of Scotland, absolutely brilliant. Acting is fantastic, but then it's absolutely spot on when Sean Harris reaches this scene. As always, you will see why he's the greatest actor. He's got such a screen presence when he's there. He's got a very, very plain and cold face, and he always looks evil and the baddie. I think that's why he always plays the bad guy. He was the bad guy in Creep in the London Underground. He was the bad guy in Deliver Us from Evil. He was the bad guy in the Moors Killing, which I reviewed. And he also stars in some other films like Prometheus and stuff like that. He's been in quite a few films, Sean Harris. He's a fantastic actor. Really, really cool. Possum. He's in Possum, and he's in other horror films that I've got. Isolation, which is another quite cool film, which I will bring to my channel at some point. And I've recently bought a DVD of him in. I didn't have the Haunted House film, so I'll try and bring that to the channel as well. So he's got this presence, and he brings it to this film brilliantly. Yeah, there's quite a few deaths in it. There's some gore in it, so it's fantastic, and it's very, very tense. And it comes to a very twisty-turny ending, which is fantastic as well. Really, really cool. I'm going to score the film an amazing watch and give it a 9 out of 10. Absolutely fantastic. I can't give it a 10 out of 10 because it doesn't have every element that I like in it to be a 10 out of 10 film. I like it to be a bit more bloody, a bit more satanic, if you like, but for what it is, it's absolutely amazing. And it's a great to see a British survival horror film, and it is fantastic. It's a very drama, thriller based sort of horror film, but you can see it's survival horror. And if you love films like Descent and any film around those sort of lines where there's a fight for survival, be it Deliverance, whatever it is, if you like those sort of films, then this could be right up your street. Southern Comfort, films like that. If you enjoy that, you'll probably love this film. Really, really cool. Guys, until my next review, please check out some horror channels. Check out Horror Hands, the horror geek, Man v Film, RS Designs, Popcorn and Horror. Check his channel out. I've just found his channel and I've been watching a bit of that. It's pretty cool. Check out Cat Watches Horror Movies and Grumpy Andrew's Haunted House. And a massive shout out to my lad. Till next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I see you all soon.